Hello, my name is Ismail Shahtakhtinski. I'm the founder and the principal immigration attorney at ISLAW firm. Today is a beautiful spring day here in Virginia, and I'm here in my backyard. I was asked as part of our video blog to cook one of my favorite dishes while talking about immigration stuff. So today what I will be cooking is going to be a wild turkey stew. I will share the recipe and I will talk about immigration stuff in between, hopefully giving you some helpful tips and ideas about developments in the immigration law and things that you should know. So let's get started. All right, so let's go over the ingredients. First, what I got here is approximately 3 pounds or so of wild turkey thighs and legs deboned. And I also keep the bones, whatever is left off, because it gives nice stock base. So when I'm making this stew, letting it boil, this is going to give really good stock. All the stuff that from the bones, it's very nice and makes it thick. What I have here in the herbs and ingredients section is I have minced garlic or diced garlic. Never knew the difference. My wife knows better. The paprika, chili powder, ground cumin, lemon zest, lemon juice, salt. That's probably too much, but it's just the container. Some butter, secret ingredient. Thyme and rosemary. Some flour, onions, celery, carrots, potatoes, avocado oil with which I will sear the meat, some Worcestershire sauce. That's excellent to add to any kind of game or wild meat. That helps to get rid of any, gamey flavor and so on, which I should say that wild turkeys don't have. That's one of the few wild animals that don't have the gamey flavor that many don't like. I personally like it, but not as much as some, for example, a wild grouse has. So this is diced or minced or crushed tomato. Again, I've never knew the difference. This is a chicken stock that will add additional base and flavor, and this is white wine, without which you cannot make a stew. Now, I have another secret ingredient, which is an ingredient from Azerbaijan, and it is a dried sour plum, which is called lavash. Some call it lavash, some call it turşu lavash, but in any case, so that's very sour, dry plum, and it helps to add sourness to anything you cook. Pretty much what the lemon does, but it has better flavor and a little less tangy sourness to it. So I love to eat it as well, but I also add it to a lot of the dishes that I cook, especially the ones like a stew or soup, something that has a base and thickness to it. It's perfect addition. It's my secret ingredient. All right, so let's get started. Again, the fire is up, the kamado is up, and I'm gonna start first with searing the meat. All right, ready with my classic cast iron pot. This is my favorite pot to cook in. I'm cooking outdoors in the kamado because keeps the temperature, and obviously cast iron has its own beautiful things. It started raining a little bit, drizzling, but no worries. I'm prepared. I have a big umbrella, so if it rains bad, I'll just cover it up. So we're gonna be fine. Fast. Okay, while the Dutch oven is heating up for searing the meat, I'll briefly tell you about expediting different kinds of immigration applications with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, USCIS. So first you should know that there are specific criteria for expediting applications. there has to be basis. And expediting your application has to help that basis, whatever the basis, the criteria that you meet. So for example, if you have a pending work permit application and you want to expedite it, proving that you have a sick relative or parent or something abroad may not help it unless you're going to be out of job and you need to financial support your parents or whoever who has a medical condition. So although these criteria are specific that the USCIS indicates, it's not exclusive. We've had instances of cases being expedited even though it didn't fit completely into one of the criteria. Maybe we kind of argued that it does fit. So what are the criteria? Number one is humanitarian and urgent reasons, again, such as medical condition, or if there is any kind of humanitarian other reason why you should get your, for example, you have a family member abroad who you need to sponsor, and you're going to sponsor and your case is pending and they're in dire situation. That could be a significant humanitarian reason why your case should be expedited, so you're able to bring that family member into the U.S. or family reunification, you have children there, or something else going on. There may be many different reasons. As I said, you can always argue that there's this humanitarian reason. The second criteria that the USCIS has is severe financial loss to an individual or a company. So for example, if you're employed and you are doing a very important job and your work permit is delayed significantly, your employer can write a letter explaining why your job is important and they cannot afford you out of work for some time until your EAD is approved. So that could be a very good reason to expedite your work permit. Again, severe financial loss to your company. For example, advanced parole. If you need to travel abroad and your advanced parole is significantly delayed, and you need to travel for an urgent visit for some kind of conference or something that is you have to attend, or there is a big deal that the company has and you need to go and negotiate. If that's going to fall through if you don't attend, then that can be expedited too. So the third criteria, if your employer is a non-profit organization, and which is gonna suffer if you don't get your work permit, or if whatever benefit you applied for is not approved quickly, and what the non-profit does is promote some cultural or societal or something that is to the benefit culturally or socially for the benefit of the United States. So that's the third criteria. The next criteria is if there is a U.S. national interest, U.S. public benefit. For example, all healthcare workers, any work in relation to healthcare, or if you are in the healthcare, or even if you work for a contractor of a healthcare organization, you can expedite, for example, your work permit or whatever applications you filed that automatically currently due to the pandemic falls under that criteria. I've actually recently expedited an EAD for a client of mine who was working as an IT guy for a company that was subcontracting with a healthcare company, pharmaceutical company, and because of that healthcare criteria being automatically falling under the public benefit, his EAD got approved within 1 week from the time of filing. And obviously we did a lot of times for nurses, doctors, and so on, so that works very well. And the last criteria is if there is a clear USCIS error. What it means is that you filed your application, USCIS made an error, and for some reason your application was denied or returned, or you sent, for example, a response to request for evidence and the USCIS received it, but they didn't register it, or they say they didn't receive it, and now they are denying your application and you need to refile it again. First of all, you should ask for fee waiver doing so, but also you can expedite the process because it was a clear USCIS error in forcing you to refile your case. So these are the criteria for the expedite. Now, how do you do the expedite service? Once you file your application, you get a receipt. The receipt is going to have the receipt number. And then on the receipt, you'll also see the 1-800 number for the USCIS. What you need to do is once you get the receipt after you file, you don't do the expedite at the time of filing, you do it after you file. Once you get the receipt, you call the 1-800 number. If you call the USCIS early morning, say 8:30, 8 o'clock, you're going to get through very fast. And when the automated answering asks you what type of issue you have, tell them Expedite, you want to place an Expedite request, and they're going to put you in touch with the representative as soon as possible. So typically there may be a long waits during the day, but as I said, in the morning it may be fast. Then you explain the reasons to the representative, they take down your Expedite request. The next, USCIS has three options. They can either deny your Expedite request based on what you told them. Second, they can approve your Expedite request based on what you told them. Third, which they often do, is they send you an email within about a week or so. It used to be much faster, but they take longer now, where because of backlogs and too many Expedite requests, they send you an email asking for supporting documentation, and that's when you send your employer's letter or medical records or whatever that reason for Expedite request may be. And the next thing, you'll get a response to your email. Again, it used to be faster, it may take a week or so, which says either it's approved or denied your request, and if it's approved, you should get whatever the application resolved much faster. That includes also asylum interviews and whatever else you may be applying. It doesn't guarantee that your case is going to be approved. It means they're going to expedite the processing, the review of your case. Okay, it's heated up pretty high temperature. What is it? Wow, 400 something. So now it's going to be very sparkly. Okay, so while our wild turkey stew is simmering here, I'm gonna talk to you about the animal of turkey. Where does the name turkey come from? Is it related to the country known as Turkey? And it is, and it is related, and that's where actually the name originates from in relation to the country Turkey. So how did this happen? So back when the Americas were first so-called discovered by Europeans, the turkeys come from America. Only North and South America there used to be turkeys, nowhere else in the world. And they were domesticated here, and they were brought to the rest of the world after the New World was found by Europeans. And when they found it, they made a mistake. They thought it was a different kind of animal. They thought it was a guinea fowl. Guinea fowl is also a domesticated type of animal that is kept in farms and so on, and it used to originate from India and being shipped to Britain and to the rest of Europe from Turkey, from Levant. And since it was coming from Levant, from Turkey, on the way to Europe, the Europeans used to call that guinea fowl turkey in the old times. So when Europeans came to the America, just like with many other things, they confused finding here for the first time. They thought it was India, but apparently it was not. So they saw people here, they said, those are Indians, and that's where the name Indians stuck with the Native Americans. And when they saw the wild turkey here for the first time, they said, well, it looks like a guinea fowl, so we're gonna name it a turkey. That's what it is, it's turkey, because the guinea fowls come from Turkey. But apparently it's not. It's only it's a type of animal that is only in America, and so that's where the name comes. And there is only wild turkeys are only in the Americas, in the South and North America. There is open hunting season in many states in the United States for turkey. It's one of the
most adventurous types of hunts and difficult hunts, because you have to call them. There are hunts during the winter, but most of the hunts are during the summer. During the spring, around April and May, that's when you can only hunt the male turkeys, called toms, and or jakes if it's a younger turkey. And you have to call them, you have to hunt them. It's one of my favorite game meats because it is just awesome. You can do so many different stuff from it, and you get so many different dishes, and it tastes great. It doesn't have a strong gamey flavor, and it's I could say my favorite, probably, wild meat. Okay, I think it's time to bring the meat back, the flour with the meat, simmer it a little bit, sear it a little bit more with the vegetables, then we're gonna add the stew and everything else. The butter, the Worcestershire sauce, a little bit more of wine, the sour plum, and the lemon juice. So, and tight. Okay, the meat is back, and I put the flour. I don't know, maybe the flour should have gone when I was first searing the meat. I don't think it matters. I mean, you know, it's for thickness. So as long as we got the flour in there, that's all that matters. It's gonna make the stew. All right, some and lemon zest. Okay, while the stew simmers, I wanted to talk to you about the different options, what you can do, what you should do, what you should think about doing if your case is stuck for a long time with the USCIS. What it means is that it's not that you applied and you want your case to be reviewed earlier than normal processing, but it's something that where your case is stuck longer than the normal processing time. So the USCIS publishes the normal processing times, which is, you know, changing too often and probably is too long, but those processing times are posted on the USCIS website. So for example, if you applied for naturalization and it says that it takes currently about 12 to 18 months, and your case has been pending for 24 months, what you should do, what you should not do, and what are the options. So number one, what you should do is obviously you should make an inquiry with the USCIS. You should make an inquiry either by calling 1-800 number of USCIS, giving the information, your case is stuck, that you want to make an inquiry, or you can make an inquiry online, which is a better option. The result is the same. You're going to get a confirmation number, which you should save for the next steps. But yeah, so you should make an inquiry, explain that your case is pending. Now, once you make the inquiry, they give you the confirmation number, and then you must wait for about, if I'm not wrong, maybe 90 days or 120 days before you can make the next inquiry, if they don't respond to your previous inquiry. So they have like this certain period of time within which, and you're gonna get that information as to what the time is for them to get back to you. If they don't get back, then you're allowed to place another inquiry. If you try to do more than one too quickly, then they're not gonna take that, and they'll tell you that we have a pending inquiry already. So the next thing is, after you make the inquiry, if it doesn't work, what is the next option? You can make an inquiry with the CIS Ombudsman. So the CIS Ombudsman is, you can find the information online if you Google it. I don't have the link now, but it works in some cases, or maybe it's just by virtue of luck and the time when we made those requests, it actually worked. So the CIS Ombudsman, you make similar to inquiry, you write about your case, the information, and that it's been stuck, whatever stage it is, and they make the CIS ombudsman on your behalf makes an inquiry with the USCIS, and they do respond to you. They basically, the ombudsman sends you an email saying we placed an inquiry. If they don't respond, check back with us again. And so, I mean, we got 2 responses from CIS ombudsman today on the cases of some of our clients, and one of them they sent that saying that, okay, we placed a request, the USCIS should respond. If they don't, get back with us. The other one they sent saying actually USCIS approved the case. It was an I-130 case, which has been stuck for a long time. It doesn't mean that the ombudsman actually got it approved or got it moving forward, but it just means that, I don't know, I mean, they're working on it. They're helpful. So what if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work either with the ombudsman, the next step is you should try to write to contact the congressmen and senators, your congressional representatives, and ask the favor from them. So they have all a streamlined process, usually on their website. They have the forms that they want you to fill out, the privacy disclosure forms that they should use before they can get a response from USCIS on your case, and they always do that on your behalf. They're very helpful. They want to help their constituents. They want to appear as if they're helping as much as they can. Now, it used to work much better about 10 years ago or so when the USCIS was still in a better condition, but then things got worse and worse and worse and really bad, much further delayed under the Trump administration. I don't want to offend anybody who loved or maybe still loves Trump, but it got really bad and chaotic. It was just messed up what the USCIS did, and a lot of these current backlogs. I mean, yes, also pandemic influenced that a lot too afterwards, on top of the administration's mishandling of the USCIS or mismanagement. So what happened after that is that the senators and congressmen, they write letters to the USCIS or make inquiries, and it's not going to help that much because the USCIS doesn't know. I mean, everybody knows that they're in chaos, they're in mess, there are significant backlogs. It's not news, so they don't want to save their face by approving a case because a senator votes. So because they get so many inquiries, and it's just not going to help that much. But it may help. You never know. Again, we never know which one of these steps helps. When we do make all those inquiries, we do all that, senators, ombudsmen, CIS, and so on. What's the next step? If that doesn't work out, first you can do all these things multiple times. Again, as long as the USCIS takes inquiries, you can do that. The ombudsman, you can make as much noise as you want to. You can write a letter to the President Biden or whoever you want to, the Secretary Mayorkas or anybody else. You can make as much noise as possible. What is the next step? If none of this works, I usually recommend about 6 months of trying this, or maybe more, sometimes even 1 year. Depends on the client and the case, but also the last step in the process is a mandamus action, is filing a lawsuit against the USCIS for not handling your case as they should. It's a little bit kind of dramatic step, so you should consider this with your lawyer, with the attorney who's handling your case. And it also is a costly process. Every attorney charges different fees. They have different experience, different fee schedule, but it's usually in several thousands of dollars. It's a step when you file a lawsuit against the U.S. government, the USCIS. The USCIS has to assign, in the federal court, has to assign a U.S. attorney who is going to represent the government, the USCIS, as a defense, and usually that brings your case to the attention, and instead of litigating or fighting with it and going through the costly discovery process, wasting the important time of the U.S. attorney on this, they usually contact the local office and get to the bottom of your case to see what's going on and get it processed and so on. And now getting processed doesn't mean your case is going to be approved, and that's very important to know, so that you don't think that, if you do file mandamus action, you're going to push them into approving your case. In fact, unfortunately, during the previous administration, they used to do a lot of nasty stuff. When somebody filed mandamus, they would try to find discretionary ways of denying the case, or in some asylum cases, they would send the case to the immigration court without immigration interview, without asylum office interview. So anyways, glad that's over, at least to the extent that we know. But again, it works, it's faster, it's much more expensive, but there are also things you need to consider if you have weaknesses in the case, or if you have discretionary factors. What you want to know, do you want to upset the officer or whatever is handling your case, or you just want to be patient and wait and maybe continue doing more inquiries and so on. So hopefully this works out. This is the tips on trying to get your stock case moving forward, and let's see what happens with our stew here. Okay, let's see what's going on. It is about 350 degrees. Ideally, I would want that to be about less than 300. And it's been going on for about 15 minutes. Let's see what is going on here. Beautiful. So all these turkey bones are going to come out. It's going to be beautiful stew. The turkey meat. Okay. I don't know what is the turkey meat called. Turkey meat. Like there is pig meat, pork. A sheep's milk meat is lamb and beef and so on. Venison for deer, but what is the word for the turkey meat? I know all the generally like chicken and so on is poultry, but I think turkey deserves its own name. And if anybody knows, please comment below. Comment, let me know what's the proper word, or maybe we should come up with one. All right. It's ready. Awesome. Perfect. Now we put here. Okay, now we're gonna try and see how it tastes. Okay, now that it's ready, I am going to add a little bit of decorative green stuff on top of it to make it more presentable. All right, ready to serve. Okay, the table is ready. I have guests over who, when they heard that I'm making this dish, quickly drove here to join me to give it a try. Well, I mean, they've tried before. I've made this before, but they couldn't miss the opportunity, and I'm really glad and grateful. Okay. All right. Ta-da! Super. All right. Wow. Title corner, please. Okay. Great. Bellissimo. All right. Okay, guys. So, time for reality check. Let's see what it tastes like. Wow, perfect sourness. What I'm surprised about is that I didn't oversalt it or undersalt it. So, pretty good. Okay, friends, we're done. I didn't fail it. Everybody loves it. You can tell by their faces. So it worked out. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, if you want to watch more of me telling you about immigration stuff, immigration laws, and doing something interesting, please subscribe, hit like. Thank you so much. Bon appetit to everyone, and hope to see you again soon.